What's up, Disney Infiniteers? Welcome to today's video where we talk about new details about Disney Infinity we've never heard before. Recently, Adrian Ropp, story lead for Disney Infinity and Hogwarts Legacy, announced that after 16 years with the company, he's made the decision to leave Warner Brothers and Avalanche. Now, of course, I had to give him some love on his legacy with the games he helped create. And with that, he's been on Twitter talking about Disney Infinity. Lots of stuff which include details on things we never knew about. And that's what I wanted to share with you all in this video. So, let's dive right in. In a response to my recent Moana dialogue video, he added more details, saying, quote, "Can confirm that this was all test dialogue recorded and used by Studio Gobo to develop and test the game. Final dialogue would have been stringently and beautifully written by the official story person, the talented Heather W." Additionally, he added that the Moana playset probably had 4 to 5 months of development left at the time of Infinity's cancellation. In a response to someone asking about water-based characters, he added, "Since we never allowed any swimming mechanic, it would have been a challenge. But, as you can see from my background, I'm not big on letting roadblocks stop innovation." Another fan brought up Disney Infinity 4.0 Kingdoms, which we've seen footage for right here on this channel, and Adrian added some interesting insight on it, saying, "The Kingdoms adventure was going to feature a lot of characters. I would consider Aladdin Chapter 1 in that experience. When you're making a game like that, sometimes you choose a small piece to use as proof of concept. The Aladdin section wasn't quite fun yet, but close." When he was asking fans about playset ideas, he also provided us fans with his Muppets playset pitch. "My Disney Infinity Muppets pitch. The playset is the Muppet Theater, and you are preparing for the next big show. Your choice of Muppet performs, in a rhythm game style, their numbers, and the special guest star can be any non-Muppet figure you choose. That's the basic premise." Adrian also discussed details he wanted for the Musketeer Power Disc, which appeared in Disney Infinity 2.0. That was a costume change power disc for Donald Duck's costume from the Three Musketeers. He said, "Do you agree with me that the Musketeer Power Disc should have worked with Donald as well as Mickey and the upcoming Goofy? I think fans would have loved that, and it would have made the most sense." He also gave some interesting insight on the development cycle, saying that decision came down to production cost. They had to do a lot of work whenever they added a costume change to a character. The animators especially were taxed beyond what they could handle. We got about 11 months for each new game, 6 or 7 months per playset with a tiny team. Compare that to the 7 years we spent making Hogwarts Legacy. It's a testament to the passion of the team. I was working on Cars for several months before they added Monsters U as a starter set, and I directed story on both simultaneously. I'd usually work with one team in the morning and the other in the afternoon. He then talked about more power discs that never happen, saying, "On Disney Infinity, the story team was often tasked with creating lists for power disc vehicles. One of our most regrettably rejected ideas was the runaway tent from Robin Hood. It would have had Rhino and elephant feet coming out the bottom and Little John's head on top." Jose, who also worked on Infinity, responded, "This is the first time I've heard about this, and it makes me very sad. I also remember all the little townspeople from Robin Hood that were planned for 4.0. That game was too beautiful for this world." Adrian replied, "There was a lot that did not make its way to the Toy Box team for similar reasons. Cut down too quickly. This game was just too massive to support it all." Adrian then shared a character that never made it into the toy box, saying, "At one time, Humphrey was going to be a toy box toy in this form. It did not pass muster with the powers that be." He also talked more about the development cycle of Infinity, adding, "A lot of Disney Infinity development centered around shared resources. Once we committed to a type of moveset with one character, we would brainstorm how it could be reused. The reason you got Merida as a figure is because we had Hawkeye with the bow and arrow moves. We often submitted lists of similar characters. Robin Hood was on a list, but Merida, as a property, had a lot more heat. This is also why we made a Mulan figure, and many elephant power discs." With X-Men always being a desired prospect for Disney Infinity from the fans, he spoke about what could have been at the time, saying, quote, "If Disney had owned Fox during the making of Disney Infinity 2.0, you would have had some very different power discs. A lot of the ideas that were rejected were from the X-Men and Fantastic Four franchises. I would have very much loved a Dark Phoenix power move. Silver Surfer's board was one that I would have loved to play with, and a Wolverine team-up disc. The Fantasticar would have been sweet." Another fun tidbit about Infinity that was revealed was that they had lots of customized voice lines that had to be cut. Adrian explains, "On Disney Infinity 1.0, we recorded happy birthday lines from every character. Our intention was that you would be able to tie it to your Disney account information. If you played the game on your birthday, you'd get a special greeting. We were originally tracking a lot more things than what the final game indicated. There were a ton of recorded lines that got cut before release." Adrian also talked about pitches for other characters and playsets, saying, quote, "We made a pitch for Wander, Felix, and Calhoun. The problem is they had to pass 2 bars. Do enough people care about these characters? And are they really marketable as merchandise? You can never forget that projections on toy sales were very important to decision making." His insight into the business side is fascinating. For example, check out what they pitched for the Pirates playset. Early on, some of us tried to make a pitch for Elizabeth Swann in Pirates instead of Barbossa. There wasn't really any merch to indicate that would be successful, but I still think it would have been amazing and would have added another strong female to our game. Monsters University playset had some changes too during development, as Adrian explains. Because Concept was working on Disney Infinity before story, they chose Randall as the villain character for Monster U. This did not make sense as he was not yet a villain. I argued we should use Johnny, aka Nathan Fillion, but it was too late. We had to manage around it a bit by surgically setting the game at a time when Randy had decided to stop wearing his glasses. Ultimately, he proved to be an advantage for the game because Violet, who had been on the chopping block a couple of times, shared powers, and the shared tech made our work lighter. So, for those of you who wonder why we have Monsters Inc. Randall instead of MU Randy as a figure, the cogs were turning too fast, and he was one of the first characters sent into production. For budget reasons, we had to cut Johnny and Dean Hardscrabble from our story. Hardscrabble would have been the character that shut down the prank war if you were caught. After all, it's shenanigans. Johnny would have replaced Fear Tech's team with his band of followers, and it would have been all about Monsters U. It would have developed more deeply than that. It was cut so early, I didn't get much time to polish and iterate. Frankly, I just wanted to work with Nathan Fillion. The playset was a complete invention of our team. I wrote a pitch for the premise and did a lot of sketches for college shenanigans, and our designers developed a game plan. Literally, Pixar provided direction, especially for the newer elements that had not yet been established. The movie changed a lot throughout production, so we went to many screenings in progress to keep our game story right and relevant. So, there you have it. Tons of insight on Disney Infinity from the former story lead, Adrian Ropp. It's always so fascinating to learn about all these new things with the game we still love and care about all these years later. So, Infiniteers, what did you think of all this amazing new Disney Infinity insight from the development days? Anything stand out as your favorite? Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe for all the latest Disney Infinity news and content.